I guess many of you are surprised to see me here. After all, we're a long way from Memphis. The thing is, you see, I'm here to celebrate my birthday. And this is my party. Folks around here and me, we seem to have a lot in common. But I wasn't always so welcome.
Why are we celebrating Elvis, an American rock star?
I just remember Richard saying that they were going to dress up as Elvis, and I thought, oh, you bunch of dickheads. That's what I thought.
Probably people thought we were a bit wackos, I suppose. And they're probably
right.
Probably right, yeah.
Once you're down on one of those suits, that you're part of it, you're Elvis, that's it.
They said, this is the craziest idea we've ever heard. And I'm going, this is going to be a disaster.
So what the heck am I doing all the way out here? Well, our story starts a way back. And you'll never guess where. This is Bob and Ann, two of my biggest fans.
Bob and I were both Elvis fans. It was he who had the first Elvis records. We saw every Elvis movie that came to town, and we bought most of his singles.
I remember once Anne said that I was a pretty good singer, and they said, would you sing something? So I jumped up onto the bar and I sung Let Me Be Your Teddy Bear. I think your mother thought that was all right.
Oh, she did. You run nanny with that.
Yeah, I think
she was a bit of an Elvis fan too.
Yeah. We bought this place back in 1980. We called it Gracelands after Elvis's place. Anne was the cook and I became an instant barman. We've had lots and lots of different parties and weddings and even wakes and things, and everyone come away with fond memories of Gracelands.
But when summer came around, business always took a dive.
In January, nothing much happened in parks. You were here because you either had to work or you had no money. If you had any money, you went on holidays, and if you were here, you worked and you didn't.
It's a hot time in parks, and in our industry, which is the function centre, people were not getting married on that particular month, so we were running pretty low too. It just happened that Elvis's birthday is in that slow time, the 8th of January 1935. So I said, why don't we have a festival for Elvis? Maybe it'll attract people to come to the town. And the tourist board said, why not?
Unfortunately, most of the townsfolk hated Bob's idea.
Dear Sir, I'm concerned over plans to hold an Elvis Presley Festival in this town. Is this the image we want? I think not.
What I saw was a big, fat, bloated creature. He overate, overdrugged, and he was just a disgrace.
To celebrate a dead rock star, I think it's the wrong thing for parks to be doing. We've got too many good people and too many good things which come out of this town and district. I personally do not like the man. To me, he was a pig.
People have said that Elvis is dead, but to tell that to me, well, they're talking on deaf ears because I'm not going to worry about that.
But there was one man in town who was sure to come to my party.
When I was about 6-7 years of age, and I went to the Saturday afternoon matinees at the picture show at Burke. As soon as you heard the voice and saw the man, that was it. When we found out that the first one was on, I went and saw Bob and Ann at Gracelands, and they told me that the look-alike and sound-alike competitions were there on the Friday night.
He asked how could I make him a jumpsuit. I said, you get me a pair of trousers and a shirt and you watch me. So that's how we started. Actually, it shocked me because he never ever used to get dressed up for fancy dress parties or nothing. But it turned out all right. At least I thought it did. Don't know about him. What do you reckon?
Draw a rifle for the first attempt.
When he put that suit on, it changed him. Started moving around on the lounge room floor, and I thought, what's going on here? I thought, where have you been hiding?
Started doing a few moves I've never done in my life. Probably just built up in there for a lot of years, listening to him and watching him and that on movies and things like that. So just finally come out. It come from within, because once you're down on one of those suits, it just makes you feel that you're part of it, you're Elvis, that's it.
The very first festival, we just expected a lot of Elvis fans, and that's what we got. We filled both the main room and the Tiffany room. We got people come over from South Australia, from as far away as Darwin. We got those people from Sweden or wherever. We didn't have many local people that year.
Steve Lennox, he was the only one with a jumpsuit in that particular year.
Wasn't too bad until I actually walked into the Gracelands and saw the amount of people. The nerves sort of kicked in and said, nah, you're not going to do it. In a way, I was frightened. I just sort of nearly went to pieces.
He'd psyched himself up to do something that he'd never done before, and I suppose he just felt funny about it.
When they called my name out for the competition, I said, oh well, may as well. When I looked into the eyes of the audience, it just gave me the feeling this is something to go on with.
It was just fantastic, the way the crowd reacted when he come out. The moves that he come out with, they come out of the shell again.
The crowd's urging you on again, so that picks you up a bit more, and it was pretty good.
Everyone else had sports clothes or bright shirts or black T-shirts or something. He sort of started the jumpsuit thing.
Lo and behold, I was the winner of the first year, so I was very proud of it.
We had a good night on the Friday night at Gracelands, a pretty good showing at the concert at the Legs Club. Everybody had a great time. Everybody vowed and declared they would be back next year, and we thought that, you know, that was good.
Here's cheers to our Elvis Festival, and do it again next
Many
year.
more.
We didn't think we had any weaknesses at all. We thought this was pretty good stuff and we're doing a pretty good job.
Yep, we all had fun, but why didn't the locals come?
We didn't even stay in town. we were at the beach, and we stayed at the beach and waited for it all to sort of settle down.
I think the first year I didn't even realise it was on. The Elvis Festival pretty well came and went without sort of even causing a bit of a ripple on the landscape in parks.
You know, you did see the street parade. It was pretty meek and mild. You know, there was a couple of cars just drove down the street with a few people half dressed with a bit of a wig and that sort of thing, you know.
We just stayed ensconced in our home on the farm, and we didn't come in. Probably, no, we just weren't involved at all.
In spite of all the party poopers, Steve noticed a strange thing happening.
When I walked down the street afterwards and people would call out down the street, "G'day Elvis" and that, and I thought to myself, well, why not? So I went to the Justice of the Peace Office here, and within a couple of months I got a new birth certificate back with change of name. Legally my name's Elvis. And it cost me $75.
Yes, sir, that's a bargain. But the good Lord above is about to test our faith.
We had a terrible run of bad luck for about 3 or 4 years. There were bushfires in the Blue Mountains. If you had lived on the other side of the mountains, you couldn't get here. Then the following year, would you believe we got floods? You couldn't get to parks because there were floodwaters everywhere. Then the following year, we got another bout of bushfires. Interest was waning for the festival. It did look like it could fizzle out. We actually had to pay the entertainer out of our own funds. That happened a couple of times.
I thought many times, why are we doing this? I even called a little meeting and said, I think this will be the last festival because I don't want to belt my head against the wall anymore. It took a few years for this impact to actually get through to local people. I think they could see that we were battling.
We needed a champion, and we sure as heck got one.
Having been an Elvis fan for most of my life, I really felt that this was something that the community should embrace. So I regularly wrote that we are in danger of losing something that is pretty special. It was something that could be unique to Parkes. It would be a tragedy for us to lose it.
Our newspaper campaign got the good folks at City Hall on side.
There's no doubt that without help, that the festival probably would have floundered. We decided that we'd ask our tourist officer, Kelly Atkinson, to get behind the program and really see what she could do to promote it.
I think I latched onto it straight away in terms of a selling point for the town to have such a unique festival.
I felt when Kelly came on board that we'd won the lottery, actually. She knew what she was doing and I was very happy.
I was motivated and pumped up to get involved, and I was ready to assist them in stepping the event up to the next level. In the early years of the event, visitors would be hyped up and excited about coming to the festival, and they'd attend a great Elvis event, and they might leave the event and try and head to a pub. But the town had maybe a closed down feel to it. They felt a little misled that they were coming to a town where there was a big event. So it was something that the committee needed to rally other people to overcome.
But just as it seemed, we might be getting back on our feet.
I was involved in a motor vehicle accident, and the doctor came up and just looked me straight in the eyes and just said, you know, we're going to have to cut your foot off. And just felt like a ton weight had landed on my chest and crushed my chest in, and just sort of took the wind right out of me. If I'd lost a foot, well, I would have lost my Elvis routine, my movements and things like that. I may have had an artificial foot, but it still wouldn't have been the same to be able to do the routines and movements, you know, sort of get into a full crouch now like Elvis used to do that. So I was in hospital for about 3 days. Things went my way and we decided to keep the foot and put a skin graft and that on it. When I got home, I said, you know, I ain't going to sit around and let the grass grow under my chair or under me. I said, I'm going to force myself back on my feet as quick as possible. It's like a boxer training for his fight. You got to stay at it and you got to be tough. I was determined to get myself back as close to what I was.
With Elvis Lennox sidelined, we got a hand from some unexpected players.
Yeah, when we first brought up the idea of partaking in the Elvis Festival, I thought it was a great idea. Obviously, we'd seen the opportunity there to sort of drink a lot of grog and dress up in silly clothes, so that was right down our alley. In the era that I sort of started coming through the rugby community, there was probably 8 or 10 guys who were all around that same age group. All being single men at the time, we decided to form the Gentlemen's Club and have a few different activities through the year. We used to always make sure we were dressed in our finery, and most of the time that was a proper dinner suit. And at one of the meetings we decided that it would be good to sort of embrace the Elvis Festival.
Business arising from the last meeting was a suggestion that we join the Parkes Elvis Festival.
The late 70s Elvis, I think we'd fit in quite well. I think we've got the body type.
I think the boys initially got involved in the Elvis parade purely for the...
As another reason to dress up.
That's right.
Well, if we do it, we'll have to get the jumpsuits. We've got to be the rigid beach.
Well, I mean that we get them and we wear them, and you can't wash them for 48 hours.
Can't take them off.
Can't take them off.
Can't take them off.
Can't go home. And the suit must be 3 sizes too small.
That's correct.
All the rugby clubs around this area in the Central West, they love to dress up, or if they're not dressing up, the other alternative is getting nude.
That's right. It's either get dressed up or get nude.
All those in favour?
Aye.
Carried.
It was my responsibility to go down to Sydney and get the suits. The beauty of going to Sydney to pick the suits up is you always got first pick of the suits, and so you can go through the bags and find out which one looked the best, and you can get the best wig, and you can really get the pick of the bunch. It's hard to recognise yourself. Once you put the sunglasses and the wig on and you got the jumpsuit on, you sort of do look at yourself in the mirror and think, that's not me, that's Elvis.
The football team weren't the only good folk to join our side.
When I first heard about the festival, there were so many people in the town who were unhappy about the festival taking place here at all. In the church, that same attitude existed. I was probably more aware of Elvis's gospel music than I was of his other songs. It was actually not a big step to think, well, why don't we create a gospel service, Elvis gospel service? The particular congregation that is in Parks, very traditional church folk, none of them have anything to do with Elvis. And you could sort of see their faces all changing. I mean, it's just an extraordinary memory. So I don't know what you reckon about this idea, but I think it's possible.
Well, Tom, to be blunt, I thought it was a very dumb idea. I really could not see a role for the church in it at all.
People go along to Elvis for a concert. He's a pop star. Now, I don't think he was a regular attender. I found it a little difficult to find a connection between Elvis and the service. I was really not a great Elvis fan in my day. The one I really liked was Buddy Holly.
And basically they said, this is the craziest idea we've ever heard, but we'll give it a go. I went out and purchased what I understood was the 2 best biographies of Elvis's life. I read the 2 books and I knew much more about Elvis than I really wanted to know. Before it happened, I didn't know what this service was going to look like, but I wanted to get people together just to see how it was going to look on the Sunday.
Amazing grace, how sweet.
And it all sounded pretty ordinary. And I'm going, this is this is going to be a disaster.
So the time had come. We'd all done the best we could. Would it be the best festival yet? Or the last ever? The football team just couldn't wait to try on their jumpsuits.
The suit fitment is a bit of fun because there's always a suit that doesn't fit, or the stupid wig, or the dodgy belt, or like even Betsy's pants over there, for example. I can't get enough of them pants. They're sensational.
Yeah, that's right.
The main thrust of what we do here now is to get as drunk as we can before we have to go to the dinner, so we're not so nervous when we walk into the crowd of 300 people and they all turn around and look at you with your suits on. Because we were the only people dressed up in jumpsuits for the entire weekend, we were quite a novelty. People would be driving up the street and stopping the cars and getting out and taking photos. An interview with papers, and we sort of become mini celebrities at the same time. That was probably something that we didn't think about when we sat down and thought, let's go to the Elvis Fest and have a bit of fun.
The next day, we all waited to see if Reverend Tom's prayers would be answered.
I didn't think many people would turn up, but I was hopeful.
The service was to start at 9 o'clock and I got to church at 8:10. And by the time I got down to the hall, there were a dozen people in the hall.
And it's like, we're here for the Elvis Presley. We've got here early so we can get the good seats. We had never experienced before people arriving early to get the good seats.
But the great part about it was there was this huge transformation. It seemed something happened overnight, heaven knows. But when they got up, they beamed and they sang in tune, everything went okay. Maybe it was just there to cause me anxiety, but it just worked on the day.
But the best part of the weekend was the triumphant return of Elvis. Elvis Lennox, that is.
The movements were pretty well restricted because I was recovering. A lot of people were very surprised to see me back in the competition. They were more surprised than I think I was. If I hadn't forced myself to do it, instead I'd probably be moping around like a grumpy old man. But no, I didn't do that. I had the willpower to do something about it, go ahead, and I done it.
By the end of the weekend, I think we all knew. My party was a king hit. Lots of folk want to come to my party now, including most of the local ones.
Can you believe the crowd that to meet the train? The people on the train were blown away when they saw so many Parks people on the platform welcoming them. It's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
The community in general, I think, have really embraced it over the last probably 3 or 4 years.
Something that we've always upheld, that to be part of the festival you have to go in the parade, so every year we've done it. Something that we'd like to keep going.
The Parks community, you can see now that it's not just a minority group trying to sort of fulfil some weird sort of niche that they've got for dressing up as Elvis. So I think there was a little bit of embarrassment about it early on, but I think because it's become such a big success that the broader community are really embracing it.
And the good Lord has given his blessing to Reverend Tom's service as well.
Well, every year it's virtually doubled. The second year was 220, the year after that was 400, the year after that was 650. I've been told there's 1,150 people here today. It's made people realise the depth of what Elvis and the Elvis Festival can bring. It's not just a commercial exercise.